CTV News at 6 with Joe Perkins.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. We begin tonight with some breaking news. There has been a multi-vehicle accident on the Trans-Canada Highway where it meets Mackenzie. 2 vehicles are involved. One of them has flipped. There are reports traffic is backed up to Langford. Saanich police are asking anyone in the area to avoid it if possible. Injuries are not known at this time. Well, it is the end of the line for the harmonized sales tax. Tomorrow, the HST will be eliminated for good, ending a nearly 5-year-long rocky relationship with British Columbians. It was hailed as a tax to help business, but in a historic referendum more than a year and a half ago, British Columbians voted to axe the tax. Now, to the delight of HST opponents, British Columbians are going back in time.
H. Give us an S. Let's have a T.
3 letters at the center of a celebration that people here believe was put off far too long.
They could have ended the HST about 3 or 4 years ago, but they carried on because for them it was a money grab.
A day before the tax's departure, the face of the grassroots campaign, late to his own event, remains critical.
Someone in this building made every light between here and the ferry terminal turn red just as I got there.
It's not the first time he's pointed his finger at the BC Liberals. In 2009, under the leadership of Gordon Campbell, the Liberals announced it was moving towards a harmonized federal-provincial tax system. Almost immediately, former Premier Bill Vander Zalm attacked. Thousands of volunteers collected more than 500,000 signatures, taking the tax to a referendum.
We practice democracy in a way like we've never seen it before in this province, in this country, or in the British Commonwealth of Nations.
The governments have to be aware that they have to handle these issues carefully. They have to explain them to people, and they have to get people on side, or people, if they're angry enough, can lash back.
Campbell soon resigned, leaving an incoming Christy Clark to unify the party. Part of that included shrugging off the uproar over the HST, and more recently seen through the province's transition back to the provincial sales tax.
It's the choice you made in the referendum on the HST, and we're honoring that choice.
Tomorrow, customers will be paying less on a handful of items. Magazines will be 7% cheaper, as well as snacks and services such as haircuts, dry cleaning, and restaurant meals.
We've calculated that's about a $200 savings per family in British Columbia. So this is big because you never see the tax go down. Usually the tax goes up.
After spending years trying to adapt to the HST, businesses are now being forced to go back as well.
The HST was good for our film industry, good for manufacturing, and for many other sectors of our economy.
But with the PST returning, some industries are bracing for higher costs, along with administrative headaches. Financial experts predict there could be some till chaos tomorrow, with customers keeping a close eye on receipts, many looking for savings that British Columbians have not had for years. Not until tomorrow, when BC says bye-bye.
3, 2, 1. Bye-bye, HST.
Starting tomorrow, BC Ferries is increasing its rates by 4%. BC Ferries says the increase is required due to the rising operating costs. An adult passenger sailing between the island and the mainland will now have to pay $15.50, and a car will come to $51.25, including the driver. On Friday, reaction from the Harbour City was mixed, with many feeling the fare hike will result in fewer cars unloading in Nanaimo. A full breakdown of the new fares can be found at bcferries.com. And BC Transit fares are being tweaked tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, there will be a new fare structure in the Victoria Regional Transit System that will promote prepaid fares, including monthly passes, bulk ticket purchases, and anyone purchasing a day pass. Day pass prices are dropping to $5, down from $7.75 for an adult and $5.50 for seniors and youth. As well, youth and senior monthly passes will now cost only $45. That's down from $52. And for those riders who prefer to pay with cash, the Victoria Regional Transit Commission is moving to a single cash fare. Adults and seniors, as well as youth, will all now pay $2.50. These changes come after a 2-month-long public consultation process with the public. Well, a Saanich man may be using the bus after having his car impounded following a reckless joyride yesterday afternoon. Saanich police say they landed a big one yesterday around 5 last night on Willis Point Road. Traffic safety officers clocked the driver of a 2012 Ford Mustang ripping down the street at speeds well over 150 kilometers an hour. That's in a 60-kilometer zone. On top of that, police say the driver was accelerating when he was clocked.
This is a residential road that leads to Willis Point, and it's the only way in or out. And our officers routinely find some dramatic speeds, and that was the case yesterday again. Lo and behold, they found that when they stopped the car, the driver's a 39-year-old Saanich man. So, you know, typically where you might presume that this would be sort of a younger demographic, what we see is someone who really is old enough to know better. This is not acceptable driving behavior and something that will not be tolerated in that area.
The Saanich driver was charged with excessive speeding and was fined nearly $500. His car was impounded for 7 days. Saanich police were back near the Queen Alexandra Hospital last night searching for a missing patient. Just last week, police were called after a 15-year-old girl and a patient at Ledger House ran off into the icy waters off Saanich. Police say a similar search was conducted last night for a young girl who went missing from the Vancouver Island Health Authority facility.
This included search and rescue volunteers from Saanich, as well as Marine unit from the Victoria Police, and as well as all of our officers that were on duty and canine handlers. So there was a significant amount of resources.
After nearly 2 hours, the girl was located by her mother near the Cedar Hill Road Library. Back in December of 2010, a 16-year-old girl walked away from the facility and committed suicide nearby. After an internal review in that case, Saanich police changed the way they respond to reports of missing teens. A coroner's inquest was later held and 23 recommendations were made to 5 organizations, including VIHA and the Ledger House. Saanich police say that last night's response followed the department's updated response plan. A pair of cyclists are recovering tonight after being struck by vehicles in 2 separate incidents. Saanich police say both cyclists were struck by drivers not paying attention. The worst of the 2 collisions happened yesterday morning on Mackenzie Street, throwing the cyclist 30 feet. That cyclist is expected to make a full recovery. Police say the man's helmet likely saved his life. Turning now to a story we've been following closely. Former longtime TV producer Alan Clapp and his partner were hoping to spend a quiet Easter in their Victoria home. It will be their last together. Alan has terminal brain cancer and for the last month has been fighting alongside the love of his life to spend his final days in their rental home. The couple says they are being wrongfully evicted from their home. A letter on their door indicates their landlord will be by today to pick up the keys to the home. Alan's doctor says the 83-year-old does not have long to live.
It's really difficult to tell because, you're 80 years of age, you've been through all the different stages, right? And then to get a brown, where you can't do anything. You rely on other people to help you. And I'm not that kind of a person.
The Clapps say their landlord has been making renovations in the downstairs suite and is planning to move into the home. They say this is the 5th time the landlord has tried to evict the couple who rents the home month by month. The Clapps say they have no plan on moving out today and have filed a petition in Supreme Court. Their lawyer says the petition requires the landlord to file a legal response before proceeding with the eviction.
I'm not sure about the next couple of months. I think it's fairly certain that the Clapps will be leaving this place within the next year at least. When a landlord wants to use their own home, they are entitled to do that as long as it's in good faith. They really do intend to live here. So I think that the landlord will end up living here fairly shortly. Really the question is just whether or not we get a few months to let Alan pass away in peace.
The couple was expecting their landlord to arrive at 1 this afternoon, but she did not arrive then. The couple is looking to put off the eviction for at least a couple of months. Well, it is days like today that send many out searching for a cold beverage, even a patio. If that sounds like you and you live in Greater Victoria, you now have one more option. A new Original Joe's restaurant and bar was welcomed into the Tuscany Village family today. If you're counting, this is number 59 for the Original Joe's chain, all of them in Canada. The 4th on Vancouver Island. The others are in Nanaimo, Duncan, as well as Langford. The restaurant says it plans to donate 50 cents from each pint of a selected beer to a local charity. The restaurant replaces an outgoing Applebee's. Time is ticking for someone in the Comox Valley. The province's lottery corporation says someone on the Mid-Island won and won big in Friday's Lotto Max draw. Check your tickets. BCLC says a ticket sold in the Comox Valley matched 6 of the 7 numbers as well as the bonus number in the latest draw. The prize amount, more than $120,000. Here are the numbers, in case you missed them: 8, 11, 12, 13, 22, 33, and 47. And the bonus number was 7. You can also go to lotto.bclc.com to see the numbers. The corporation says the ticket holder has 1 year to claim their prize. Welcome back. Canada continues to sweep up at the Ford World Curling Championships. Victoria fans cheered Canada to an opening victory yesterday, and the fans were back today looking to keep the streak alive. Canada's Brad Jacobs looking to make it 2 in a row this morning with a match against the Finns. And he had Canadians a little worried early. Canada took a 1-0 lead in the second end, but Finland fought back, lying 3 after this shot. Down 4-1, Canada rallied from behind, eventually tying things up at 5 in the sixth end. The Canadians would score 3 more, going on to win 8-6, keeping their winning ways alive and living up to the high expectations put on them by the Canadian curling faithful.
It's Canada or Scotland, I think. That's my choice between the two. And well, whoever gets hot at the end will win the championship. Yeah, we'll win the Worlds.
Canada will make the finals and really come on strong. Scotland will be there too. And we're hoping Norway, but we're not sure.
Yesterday, the tournament kicked off to the sound of bagpipes as the teams were trotted out. The ceremonial first rock was also thrown right on the button. Canada won its opening game against China 7-6. Tonight, a very big game for the Canadians, a rematch of the 2005 Worlds as Brad Jacobs and his team take on David Murdoch's Scotland rink. First stone is thrown a little over half an hour at 7 o'clock. And as always, all of Canada's games can be seen live on TSN.